Hello friends and welcome to the channel. In this video I will be explaining why having a high pass alone doesn't necessarily constitute you being a good player, but rather there are other factors that play an important role, these being consistency, mechanical skill, and being a good team player. These three factors are some of the most important skills a player can have, and it's evident when a player lacks these compared to when they lack a high pass. There are a plethora of other reasons for what makes a good player in Final Fantasy XIV, but in this video we will be focusing on these 3 points and comparing them to Parsing. Over the course of my 8 or so years of playing this game, I have encountered pretty much every type of player. Players with high consistency, excellent raid callers, strategy makers, and more. And they have all had something in common. They didn't obsess over their damage. Meanwhile, I've played with obsessive passers, and I don't think anyone has wiped me more in a raid than them, just from my experience. I'd like to begin with logging and its problems. The problem with logging is it has so many different variables that not every single player seems to understand, like the difference between RDPS and ADPS, RDPS being raid damage and ADPS being personal damage. These two have their own issues, as RDPS can promote selfish gameplay and ADPS can promote annoyance of said selfish gameplay. There are a ton of other factors that go into passing that can dictate someone's pass. Factors like kill time, deaths, buff windows, crit chance, item level, luck, and more. Some of these factors are outside of a player's control. There is also the issue of attempting to pass without a group, which often leads to instances of griefing and wasting other players' time within a party finder setting. To better explain this, I will use myself as an example. I started this past Savage tier at a casual rate, which led to late clears and low gear levels. Now, why didn't I fix my logs after? Honestly, I didn't care. I didn't need to prove myself. I already had a group going into the newest Ultimate, Dragon Song Surprise, as I am a player that prioritizes my consistency and mechanical skill above all else, and I have a decent history of raiding. But if I was in a position like this and I didn't know anybody to vouch for me or take me into their group, I would have had to scurry about fixing my logs, trying to prove a point that doesn't necessarily need proving. Don't get me wrong, DPS is important and you should be improving it whenever you can, but don't let that come at the cost of your consistency. Unfortunately, this passer mindset creates a broader issue that is gatekeeping within the community, not allowing players to join their statics if they don't have 90+ on all current Savage fights, without even considering their player skill or personal situation, leaving players with a ton of potential and no chance to blossom to build up our raiding community as a whole. Numbers on logs do not tell the whole story either. You can gain a lot of information from logs than just high numbers. Do they die a lot? Do they let others die? Do they move consistently between mechanics? And how fast do they improve? And so on. But how many players are looking at this information versus are the numbers purple or orange? Let's hone into these 3 key factors and break them down: consistency, mechanical skill, and team play, and why I feel these are more important than a high pass. Being a consistent player can in a way be an umbrella term for many aspects. Things like making minimal errors during pulls, correcting mistakes quickly, making sure you understand and execute mechanics correctly, being consistent on party buffs or mitigations, and your ability to recover from bad situations or deaths that will allow you more time to prog or get you a clear. This playstyle overall, outside of speed kills, will save you time and stress of you and your team. Mechanical skill is a bit different but ties in with consistency. Being mechanically skilled is being able to pick up new mechanics fast, comp new strategies to deal with the mechanics, and be able to adjust to different scenarios during mechanics, be it a variance in direction, a player death, or facing unfamiliar patterns. If you consider yourself mechanically skilled, then you might be the type to throw yourself headfirst into a high adjustment role, or look back at footage and identify what happened so you can figure out a strategy that works for you and your team. Having a high mechanical skill level will also allow you to understand how to greed, when you can greed and when it is not worth it to greed. A player that doesn't risk any greed might not be comfortable with greeding, and that's mostly okay given their circumstances. However, in high-end raiding or progression, safe greeding opportunities can be missed. Full greeders who will greed every opportunity they can get are very likely to cause issues, especially in instances where you're just trying to get the clear, but then you wipe because the melee or tank went in for 1 extra GCD, setting you back another 5 to 10 minutes. This can be devastating in a world progression instance and quite annoying in any other case. However, a safe greeter is someone who understands a mechanic and its snapshot potential versus their personal GCD can help push a group safely to the clear player without becoming a potential burden on their team. This all leads to the final factor I wanted to discuss, being a team player. Being a team player means that you are not only focused on the two factors, but also making sure you have a good attitude and willingness to put in the work needed to clear. Attitude in raids, party finders, or statics is huge. Nothing is worse than having someone with a bad attitude towards the raid, tilting easily, bringing the whole group down. Tilt happens, but some are tilted far easier than others, sometimes at themselves, sometimes at another raid member, sometimes at the game, and many will make excuses instead of just owning to a situation, saying I can do better and progress forward. If you have a bad or negative attitude, you will undoubtedly have a hard time finding and keeping a raid group together, even if you have all hundreds. At the end of the day, you are spending hours a week with a group of people and it is meant to be fun. Working on your attitude is doable. Learning to accept yours and other mistakes and learning from them instead of fixating on them. If you get tilted, you will play worse, and that will badly affect your team as well. I personally can't stand toxic behavior and will make doubly sure that I am not raiding with such a personality. Being a team player also means communication, not only collaboration on mechanics, but in general so that you and your team have less chance of misunderstanding or miscommunication. The last I'll comment on this is compromise. Solutions can always be found. Do what is best for your team within reason, even if it means small adjustments or a little extra study or work. Putting in that little extra effort can make or break how long a team can last. At the end of the day, you want a fun experience. So why does this all matter? It matters because Final Fantasy XIV is a DPS based game where all roles and high-end content have to contribute to DPS to clear. You need to learn your toolkit, openers, and rotation. You need to understand and build up rotational muscle memory and generally be good at doing damage. So why don't log numbers alone tell us we're good at all that? Well, that is a lesser known but a very simple reason. Logs over-exaggerate DPS. You only need as much damage as it takes to clear a fight. Clearing a fight in a quicker time is great, but it has no correlation between clearing a fight for the first time or any other time after. But as long as you know how to press your buttons and use your raid buffs every 1 to 2 minutes, you will clear a fight with no problems. Perfect optimization is never a thing on the first clear. Great consistency, mechanical skill, and team play are though. This applies to everything from casual to world progression groups. The one exception is likely speed kill groups, where a higher level of optimization is required. However, to make it to that level of play, you will need to know the fights inside and out, which will require the skills I have mentioned, plus parsing skills to tackle that speed kill timer. I would like to mention that I am in no way belittling parsing. People often pass for fun, and I see no issue with that. People also pass to improve themselves as a player, as you can get tons of information from doing so. What I am expressing is the importance people put on those numbers over everything else and how that negatively affects them as a raider and the raiding community as a whole. Logs should be something to be proud of because you improved and played well. It shouldn't be a requirement at the cost of pushing players to excel in team play who haven't had the time or opportunity to log. There is more to being a good player in this game than just logs alone, and I hope that this discussion can help you think about what it really takes to be a desirable player. And that'll just about do it for this video. If you'd like more videos on how to improve these skills, then please feel free to let me know. That said, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like as that really helps. And if you aren't subscribed yet and enjoy the content, then please consider doing so for more content like this. Anything you would like to add to the video or discuss with me, write it in the comments below. Want to support me further? Check out the social links in the description below. With that out of the way, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, stay safe, and goodbye.